Sir, please stand, give us your name and where you're from.
I'm Bruce Clendenning from Concord. The question's a little long, so I'm going to read it. It's become clear to the scientific community, much of the business community, and especially to the 164 towns here in New Hampshire that passed resolutions seeking aggressive national action on climate change and alternative energy, that climate change, inefficient energy use, and our dependence on coal and oil have really become the greatest environmental and energy issues that we and the world are facing. Wondering what's your position on things like emission standards, fuel efficiency standards, and increasing our use of renewable fuels?
Well, my position on that is that we should become, in a major way, committed to energy independence. Energy independence should be, for us, our generation, it should be what putting a man on the moon was to the generation in the 1950s and 1960s and 1970s. It should be a major government enterprise, private enterprise, and we should further every single one of the alternatives, which means ethanol, biodiesel. Brazil, per capita, is ahead of us in the use of ethanol and the use of substances like that reduce the dependence on oil. Brazil should not be ahead of America in the use of ethanol. We should be ahead of Brazil. We should be the world leader. France is 85% nuclear power. China is building 40 new nuclear power plants. We haven't licensed a nuclear power plant in 35 years. And it has to be safe nuclear power, but that's an alternative that we have to look at as well. Clean coal, carbon sequestration, cleaning coal is a process that can be done. It is very expensive. It needs more research and development to become more efficient, more cost efficient. Well, we should do that. We should get it done. We have more coal reserves in the United States than they have oil reserves in Saudi Arabia. We're a lot safer using our coal reserves than seeing the dependence on oil in the Middle East. Then we have to look at wind and solar. They're a little further behind the technologies I just mentioned, but long term they could offer a tremendous opportunity. The trick there is you get a lot of energy when the wind is blowing. You get no energy when the wind isn't blowing, and the lights all go out. So if you could find a way to create a massive battery that would hold the charge and deliver it on a consistent basis, then wind power and solar power could be a bigger player than they are right now. Those are things that I think we have to do. And then I do think we have to have more refineries, and we have to take advantage of the oil that is more within our control, at least for a period of time while we go through this transition. My major concern is that lack of energy independence is a national security problem. The idea that all this money is flowing, particularly to volatile parts of the world, and particularly to parts of the world where they're breeding Islamic terrorism, is very, very dangerous. And it can no longer be just a matter of our economy. It's important to our economy. It's a great world industry for us. It's important to our global economy. It's important to our reducing the impact on global warming. It's important to pollution, but it's most important because it's a matter of national security. And I think this is something Republicans and Democrats can agree on. I mean, this is not a particularly partisan thing. This is something that has to be done in the interest of this country. And when we put a man on the moon, it was 2 Republican presidents and 2 Democratic presidents who did it. It started with Eisenhower, and then Kennedy and Johnson furthered it dramatically, and Nixon got it done. And that's what we should do with energy independence.
Can you step up and tell automakers, make the miles per gallon better? Can you just mandate
you can do that? You can do that. Mandates, I don't like mandates, particularly. I don't think mandates generally work. And I think mandates are somewhat inconsistent with the kind of economy and the kind of society that we have. Encouragements and incentives work a lot better than mandates in the American economy and in the American spirit. And I sure as heck would think that New Hampshire would understand that better than any place else. Look at the difference on the answer on health care. You mandate a solution to health care, and immediately cost goes out of control. The minute you've mandated a solution, everybody knows what everybody else has to do, and costs go out of control. If you encourage and incentivize a solution that then private people buy into in slightly different ways, you create something that is truly American, that works. It's one of the reasons why we outperform so many of these other countries. So look, you have to have certain emissions standards, but don't think that's going to solve the problem for you. The thing that's going to solve the problem for you is ethanol, biodiesel, nuclear power, coal, clean coal, solar, wind, new forms of energy, more creativity, inventiveness. The Americans do this best of all when we give them a goal to accomplish this.